Hello guys and welcome back to my channel Firewall again. In this video we are going to talk about symmetric and asymmetric key cryptography. Symmetric and asymmetric key cryptography is very crucial and very important to understand because whenever you go for any sort of network security or a cyber security interview, definitely you're going to get asked one question: what is symmetric key and asymmetric key cryptography, and how this asymmetric key and symmetric key cryptography is in use, and how symmetric key is beneficial or how asymmetric key is beneficial, how the password is shared when we talk about the symmetric key cryptography. So all the questions what you have with respect to the symmetric and asymmetric cryptography, I am going to answer here. So please watch this video till the end. What is symmetric cryptography? So in crypto system that uses symmetric cryptography, the sender and receiver use two instances of the same key for encryption and decryption. The key has dual functionalities in that it can carry out both encryption and decryption process. Symmetric keys are also called secret keys because this type of encryption relies on each user to keep the key a secret and properly protected. If an intruder were to get this key, they could decrypt any intercept message encrypted with it. Each pair of users who want to exchange data using symmetric key encryption must have two instances of the same key. This means that if Dan and Iki want to communicate, both need to be obtain a copy of the same key. If Dan also want to communicate using symmetric encryption with Norm and Dev, he need to have three separate keys, one for each friend. This might not sound like a big deal until Dan realized that he may communicate with hundreds of people over a period of several months, and keeping track and using the correct key that correspond to each specific receiver can become a daunting task, right? If 10 people needed to communicate securely with each other using symmetric key, then 45 keys would need to be kept track of it. So say if you have 100 people were going to communicate, then you required 4950 keys, and that much keys computing will be involved. The equation here we going to be use or normally use is n minus 1 divided by 2, and that is number of keys. When using symmetric key cryptography algorithm, the sender and receiver use the same key for encryption and decryption function. The security of the symmetric encryption method is completely dependent on how well user protect the key. This should raise a red flag for if you have ever had a depends on a whole staff people to keep track of your secret key. If a key is compromised, then all message encrypted with that key can be decrypted and ready. Symmetric cryptography system can provide confidentiality, but they cannot provide authentication or non-repudiation. There is no way to through cryptography whole actual send message is if two people are using the same key. If symmetric cryptography have so many problems and flaws, why use them at all? Because they are very fast and can be hard to break. Compared with the asymmetric system, symmetric algorithms scream in a speed. They can encrypt and decrypt relatively quickly. Larger amount of data data that would take an unacceptable amount of time to encrypt and decrypt with asymmetric algorithm. It is also difficult to uncover data encrypted with a symmetric algorithm if a large key size is used. For many of our applications that require encryption, symmetric key cryptography is the only option, right? Now let's quickly talk about the asymmetric. In symmetric key cryptography, a single secret key is used between the entities, whereas in public key system, each entity has different keys or asymmetric keys. Asymmetric keys means more than one key, or asymmetric key means two keys. The two different asymmetric keys are mathematically related. If a message is encrypted by one key, the other key is required in order to decrypt the message. In public key system or asymmetric cryptography, the pair of keys is made up of one public key and one private key. The public key can be known to everyone and private key must be known and used only by the owner. Many times public keys are listed in a directory and database of email address, so they are available to anyone who want to use them, right? The public and private key of asymmetric crypto system are mathematically related, but if someone gets another person's public key, he or she should not be able to figure out corresponding private key. This means that if an attacker gets a copy of say Bob's public key, then he can't employ some mathematical magic and find Bob's private key. But if someone gets Bob's private key, then it's a big trouble. So no one other than owner should have the access to private key. If Bob encrypt data with his private key, the receiver must have a copy of Bob's public key to decrypt it. The receiver can decrypt Bob's message and decide to reply to Bob's in encrypted form. All the receiver need to be do encrypt her reply with Bob's public key, and then Bob's can decrypt the message with his private key. It is not possible to encrypt and decrypt using the same key when using asymmetric key encryption technology, because although mathematically related, the two keys are not the same key as they are symmetric cryptography. As in a symmetric cryptography, Bob can encrypt data with his private key and the receiver can then decrypt it with Bob's public key. So now let's discuss the important part, how the key get transferred from sender to the receiver. What is the right method to deliver that work? So just see the diagram. This diagram represents the PKI environment. In PKI environment, you will see the certificate request, you will see CA certificate authority, you will see certificate distributions, and you will see how those getting communicated and transferred. So consider you want to transfer a asymmetric key and specifically the public key from the sender to the receiver. So this public key need to get transferred to the receiver. So what is the procedure in PKI? So the PKI environment is designed to send public key to the receiver. Let's see how. Send this public key to the receiver. What are the steps comes and involved? So you are seeing here, you will see the certificate request, you will see certificate authority, you will see certificates. So basically the public key which is going to share to the receiver is shared from these certificates. So whenever we see certificates into our environment, we talk about the certificates, the certificate details, the certificate sharing. It's all about for your key sharing. And one more thing, for the digital signatures. So how it works? Initially the certificate request is received, then certificate authority generate the certificates and that certificates delivered to the receiver. How it works? Consider in a asymmetric key cryptography, you have a two key, public key and private key. The public key is integrated with your certificate, so it's visible to the receiver, and private key is kept private with the sender only. And when the CA third party come into the picture, they integrate their certificate in a such a way that the private key is used to do the digital signature, right? And this digital signature is used at the receiver side to get the private key to decrypt your whatever the message is got encrypted using the public and private key. Okay, so in asymmetric key cryptography, the key is shared via certificate, but certificate is signed via digital certificate. The receiver want to decrypt the message, he use this certificate and via that it happens. So the PKI environment is designed to share the key securely and via certificates. So now the question comes in the mind that how the certificates are secure and how we can share those certificates in a public environment. So these certificates are already integrated with the hashing. So whatever the private key is integrated to sign the digital signature is hashed via hashing algorithms, and those hashing algorithms like say SHA-256 and the later one who have the strongest security are used to make your private key secure and stronger hashed with the hashing algorithm, and like way that key is get shared, and it's difficult for the hacker, it's almost impossible for the hacker to decrypt that key if we use this sort of algorithms, right? So in public key cryptography or symmetric cryptography we can use this PKI environment, but in symmetric key cryptography we know only the similar key is used to decrypt the encrypted message. So that similar key is also we can deliver via this public key infrastructure. How it is, you have use same manners what we are using here to share the private key to the receiver using the PKI environment, and via that key is securely received to the your receiver, a well known and important method to send the key. So the question which we generally get during the interview, how you can transfer the symmetric key securely to the receiver. So the answer is PKI. You can use the public key infrastructure and you can use the asymmetric key methodology to transfer that key to the receiver. So guys, thanks for watching this video and have a wonderful day.